We're going to try to create these two boxes here basically at the same time. In this one, we're going to create a nested grid inside the grid we already created, which is inside the grid. So this is 3 layers down basically. We need a paragraph, a header, and we need a paragraph, we need an image, and then we need an optional footer here. So we need to go to our Visual Studio Code and locate the first box here called box A. So create space. I'm going to paste in some code now, and I'm going to paste or copy this code to the description so you can copy it instead of having to write all of this. You will just go through the code, what it actually means, and why it's written like it is. So right now it's kind of all along. There we go. This is more pretty. And even more making it pretty. There we go. What I just pasted in was this line. And what I'm doing is I'm creating a class right now. So instead of having an ID, I created a class. So I briefly talked about this. IDs I usually use for when you have something that's unique. So things we're only going to use once, for example. And in our case, you can see we actually have 2 of the same things here. So that would be an ideal placement to use class. Does exactly the same thing, but instead of using a hashtag to do a selector, we're using a dot instead in our CSS. I'm creating a container, div media here, and inside this I have one with an image. I have all these other things here, so I have a image that is a placeholder. You can change values here and it will automatically change the pages, the image size. So this is 250, 250. And that is that pretty picture up here. Then I create an H2 inside my block here, and this is my title. I create a div class container called content where I have my lorem ipsum, and then I create a footer. So make sure you look at this because we have footer here and footer here, but we're going to do things so they don't mess up for each other. This is the HTML structure I'm going to reuse. So actually I'm going to take this and also paste this into the B1 here. And now I just did a mistake and copied nothing. So copy this and paste this in here as well. I have 2 times of this. So if we go to a browser and it's going to do bad things to our design right now, but now we have the correct HTML for this, and we're going to start structuring. So this text goes up here and this one goes down here by using the grid again. Back to HTML and CSS, save this, go to your style, and then we're going to start slowly to changing up all these things. So before your aside here, we're going to do all these things. I'm just going to add a comment here so we can see nested grid inside nested grid, so we know where we actually are. So I'm going to do this, paste this here, so it's easier for us to follow. First things first, I am going to create an image like so, and I'm going to just give this, and this will work for all images on the page actually, since we write it like this. So image, and we're going to add a max width of 100%, so we make sure that it doesn't just use the original size, but it fits within the box that it contains. We're going to just also add something to the H1 and a paragraph so they don't look so crazy. We're going to remove the margin in here, and then we're going to look at this. So we have our div class called media, and that one we're going to start targeting now. So instead of doing this for an ID, we do this media. And inside this media we need to yet again use display grid so it knows what we're doing. We're going to create grid gap because we want spaces like we had before. Oh, sorry, grid column gap in this case. Column gap, I can't spell, like so. And we want also to create a grid template, and we want the columns to be 150, and we want it to be 1 fraction. We're going to do rows as well, so grid template rows, and here we want auto, and we want 1 fraction, whoops, 1 fraction, And then we're going to use the grid template areas, because we're going to use the awesome way of structuring by using this these here. But we're not going to put them in until we know the specifics of this. Next part, we need to, in the next movie, we're going to create these, naming the areas so we can start using them in the grid area up here.